When judges get mad in court, I gotta see this.
Episode, we're looking at when judges erupt in court.
I gotta see this.
Are you kidding me that you...
When you think judge, you think high authority and calm, rational thinking.
Big respect.
But just like the rest of us, they're also prone to completely losing their
I asked you a question.
So let's have a look at 5 judges who did exactly that. Our first case is Judge Wayne Culver. He's a judge in Seminole County who became known for an outburst he had on what was for him not a good day in court. Kevin Newton was with his sister when he entered a courtroom as part of the public gallery, but Judge Culver wasn't about to give them a warm welcome.
Hold on.
Were they
Sir,
late?
I'm doing something. Can you shut up and sit down?
Absolutely, I was trying to find a seat.
That's not shutting up.
Jesus.
You want to be held in contempt and go to jail? I asked you a question.
No, sir.
Then shut up.
You might even say
Jeez,
the judge didn't
what was
give a
this
deep
for?
inquiry. Kevin's sister also had some remarks regarding this shocking incident.
Why
Unacceptable.
was he so mad?
I was scared to react in any kind of way because I didn't want to go to jail.
Of course.
Tape on the benches. We didn't know where to sit because COVID. This judge let his personal feelings take over.
The judge was facing penalties for his angry outburst.
Yeah, that's a fine,
but
bro.
there were some who defended him.
But he
I
rich.
like him personally. It's obviously he was frustrated and it was a bad day. The problem with it is that judges, like lawyers, you have to be good even on a bad
A
day.
bad day.
Not that it
100%.
excuses the behavior.
But why did he
Judge
get mad?
Culver did
Does he
end
know
up
them personally?
apologizing to Newton and his sister.
Okay, that's good. He
only
apologized.
Once the hearing had commenced. It just goes to show that even the most respected people can sometimes take their bad days out on the innocent and the unsuspecting. Up next, we have Judge Michael Bachman. He was an ex-magistrate judge in Cincinnati's Hamilton County Court of Common Pleas. He became famous after his unusual activity during court. When Cassandra Jackson missed the deadline for filing a civil protection order, she ended up engaging in an argument with some court employees and began screaming in the hallways. Now, enter Judge Bachman, who was conducting a witness cross-examination in his own courtroom, just further down the
she's
hall.
too loud.
Now, he claims that it got so loud that he couldn't hear any witness responses over all the commotion.
Well, send
Jackson storms off, but the
police.
damage was done as 9 seconds later, Bachman emerges, ready to hunt down the culprit. Because there's no audio in these CCTV clips, we'll walk you through what happens next. Jackson does hear the judge shouting after her and turns to respond, but then continues walking. It's at this point, Bachman begins to jog after her enraged and orders her back to his courtroom. Having completely lost his cool at this point, Bachman makes the grave mistake of forcibly guiding
you
Miss
touched
Jackson
her?
back down the route she had just escaped from by putting his hand on her shoulder.
Oh no.
He kept his hand there for 23 seconds until he placed her into a seat in the jury box.
Oh, no,
They
you can't
continued
do
to
that,
exchange
bro.
words, and things escalated to the point where Bachman demanded deputies to take her into custody.
Oh my God,
Things
you're
ramped
gonna
up
get
even
her.
further as Jackson,
And then she
feeling like she'd
ran?
been unjustly held in contempt, tried to escape the madness, jumping out of the jury box and resisting arrest.
Okay, so the judge, when he touched her, automatically whatever was gonna happen, she would have been fine. She would have been 100% fine. But then you could say, oh, she resisted arrest by running away. If she did not run away, this would have been a clean case. Probably could have even sued, honestly.
This was a messy situation, which frankly could and should have been handled better by all parties involved.
100%.
Both Bachman and Jackson suffered the consequences of this interaction,
They both gonna get a
as
fine.
she ended up serving 2 days in jail, and Bachman handed in his resignation for putting his hands on the defendant. A harsh reminder that it's better to keep your cool than act a fool.
Are you kidding me that it was dismissed and you're bringing up something that was dismissed?
This is Judge Charles Stengel. He
What
was
was
a
it, though?
circuit
What
judge
was
for
it?
the
What was
14th
it?
Judicial
What was
Circuit
dismissed?
Court of Illinois in Rock Island County. Before his retirement, Stengel was involved in a case where he ended up putting an attorney firmly in his place. It occurred in the Kristen Holtzman trial. Holtzman was scamming people via a fundraiser where she was raising money to fight brain cancer, which, as it turns out, she didn't actually have. Her defense attorney Jack Swartz was trying to undermine the witness's credibility by bringing up legal issues from her past, which were already dismissed by the judge.
Yeah, you can't do
But
that.
Judge Stengel wasn't having any of it.
It looks like it was dismissed, however, she was forced to pay restitution.
Doesn't
Are
matter. It
you
was
kidding
dismissed.
me that
Why are you bringing it up?
It was dismissed, and you're bringing up something that was dismissed, and you know that that cannot be
Oh my
impeached.
God.
You know what, Mr. Schwartz? You know the rules of Montgomery or the Illinois Supreme Court rules and the rules of evidence regarding impeachment, do you not?
Yes, I do, Judge.
And
So
how
why you
long
bring
have
it
been
up?
practicing law to know those rules?
Long time, Judge.
Yes.
Judge Stengel seems pretty aggravated at
That's
Mr.
fine.
Schwartz.
He hasn't done nothing
and
wrong
things
so
get
far.
even worse as the judge lays into him further.
I gave you time for a recess for you to prepare for this question, to cross-examine this witness. You said that you were ready.
But you bring some
And
bullshit.
you're telling me you weren't ready?
Ouchie. I wonder what the attorney has to say in his defense.
No, I thought I was ready.
Well, that's a strong defense.
Damn.
Perhaps if he'd been prepared,
Oh
this
my
encounter
God.
would never have occurred.
Bro, it's time for a new lawyer.
Well, you know, you made a very serious mistake here, Mr. Schwartz, and there are going to be sanctions because you know, and I don't believe that you're saying that you didn't know it wasn't dismissed. You had ample opportunity to know who this witness was. And there are going to be sanctions, and I haven't quite decided
I didn't know
what
you could
those
do that.
sanctions are going to be, but I'm going to tell the
Okay.
jury that that question was wholly improper.
Okay, so he's threatening to sanction him. He's not actually doing it. So he could just say, yeah, I'm going to find you in contempt of court, blah, blah, blah. But then just say, nah, drop the charges.
Something tells me that this attorney won't be too saddened to hear that Judge Stengel is now in retirement. And he probably also won't be trying to use dismissed evidence again in court anytime soon. This is Circuit Judge Bruce Schroeder. He's the
Probably
longest
retired
serving
'cause he's
state
tired of
court
hearing
judge
that.
in Wisconsin.
That
Schroeder
bull.
rose to fame after he became the judge on the Rittenhouse trial, one of the most famous trials in the last couple of years.
Yeah, bro.
Kyle Rittenhouse
Trial.
is a teenager who gunned down 3 people.
Bro got
Kyle
acquitted.
claimed he acted in self-defense and was found not guilty.
Bro, this judge,
His trial
was
gained
crazy.
worldwide notoriety, and the judge had an outrageous outburst towards the defense lawyer due to his line of questioning.
Yeah, bro. He was guiding.
First of all, Your Honor, this was the subject of a motion. I'm well aware of that. And the court left the door open.
For me, not for you.
My understanding of
You should have come and asked.
Yeah.
Things got spicy,
This is supposed
but
to
it
be
didn't
behind
end
closed
there.
doors.
The judge then proceeded to comment further on the matter.
I denied it, or I indicated a bias towards denial is what I did. Why would you think that that made it okay for you without any advance notice to bring this matter before the jury? I was astonished when you began your examination by commenting on the defendant's post-arrest silence.
Because he's trying, bro. He's trying so hard to get this conviction. He's playing dirty tactics, any means necessary to get Kyle convicted. And I think he would have been convicted if this fucking if these guys didn't do a bad job, he probably would have been convicted. But these underhand tactics, try and get him any way possible. Oh, this might work. This might work. What about this? What about his past? That's not how you win. That's not how you win the courtroom.
I have no idea why you would do something like that. So I don't know what you're up to.
Schroeder
He's trying to get a
clearly
conviction.
wasn't going to let anything pass, and this defense lawyer was going to be made an example of.
I'm not going to rehash the motion. Yeah, that's absolutely untrue. There's no. Your arguments of record, my comments are of record, and why I ruled as I did is of record. There's nothing that I heard in this trial to suggest anything's changed. Even if you're correct in your assumption that you know more than I did at the time, you should have come to the court and say, I want to go into this. Why you would think that you could go into it without any advance notice to the court, I don't understand that. And as the defense
Any way
is pointing out,
possible.
you're an experienced trial lawyer, and this should not have been going.
Schroeder might have let his emotions get the better of him, but he wasn't about to let such a high-profile case get dragged into disrepute over
It was gonna make him look bad too. On top of it.
procedural inconsistencies. This is Judge Patrick Dinkelacke. Yes, get your
Nice
chuckles
name.
in about his name, because he wasn't in much of a laughy mood. Kalaka, who's on the Hamilton County Court of Common Pleas in Cincinnati, Ohio, that would end up being engraved in history. The well-known case of Judge Tracy Hunter.
Former Cincinnati Judge Tracy Hunter was sentenced to 6 months in jail back in 2014, but she's been appealing the ruling ever since. She was convicted of misusing her position as a judge to help her brother, who was facing an employment dispute over his job in the county. Her lawyer has claimed her actions didn't break the law.
This trial was
This is gonna be crazy.
so outrageous, it made headlines all over the country and received demanding attention from the public,
Everybody's
especially
gonna watch
the
this.
African American community. Many watching in from the outside thought that Judge Hunter was treated unfairly and argued that racism was influencing how she was being prosecuted.
Oh my goodness.
Her defense attorney argued that she was indeed the victim of a crime that shouldn't even be considered a crime in the first place.
Well, what's it say in the law? Is it a crime in the law book? If not, then she's good. If it is a crime in the law book, just saying it shouldn't be considered one doesn't mean anything. You could, like, half the states in the United States say weed is illegal. Just because it's legal in Colorado don't mean it's legal where you at. So if you get pulled over like, oh, I don't think it should be illegal. It's legal in Colorado. Well, cool. It's not legal here. You're under arrest. Like, come on, bro.
Judge Hunter has gotten up each morning not knowing whether that was going to be the day that she was going to have to go to jail.
However, after all her appeals were rejected and her sentence was handed down by Judge Kalaka, chaos ensues in the courtroom. And a slight disclaimer here, you may want to have your volume settings ready, because it can get a wee bit loud once things begin to kick off.
Number one, you pay the cost of these proceedings. Number two, you are to do not violate any laws. Number three, you are to do 6 months in the Hamilton County Justice Center, credit 1 day. Mr. or Ms. Deputy can take her away.
Damn.
Ah yes, no better time to pull out the classic "thou shalt not move me" trick by relinquishing all muscle activation and planting yourself to the spot. This really does seem to be such a mature way to avoid a jury ruling.
Shut your ass up.
After being dragged from the courtroom, Tracy complained that she was injured by the officer who dragged her. And of course, as you can see, her heinous and truly brutal handling must have caused some pretty severe injuries. It's really a miracle she even survived. But in all seriousness, this was an unexpected reaction, which has more place showing up in a playground than in a courtroom between two judges. So, which judges were justified in their eruptions, and which ones?
The one that didn't touch anybody or use any swear words, that's the only one that's fine. I mean, the like button, even though the narrator was definitely being annoying. 20 seconds or whatever. But that was still a good video. Yeah, I think the only one that was a big issue was the judge that touched that lady's arm. Definitely not a good. This one, I think this last one is like, you know, it was a court ruling, whatever. I mean, I don't see why this is even really on here. The judge did interrupt, but I guess you could say she was weird. But at that point, she's not even in her robes anyway. This one was necessary because this was a very public. Like, this is like almost as big as the Johnny Depp case, right? So it makes sense why he would say, no, this is this. I'm on record. You're on record. Blah 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 blah. Because I don't want anybody to be like, oh, take it to the Supreme Court and overrule me. All these people got egos. This one was pretty good too. He didn't cuss, and like these first two were the only ones that were like, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, great video. I will see you guys next time. Bye.